Hi, my name is Michelle Molina, and I am the current president of Comal County Friends of the Night Sky.
Well, my name is Becky Virtue, and I'm a member of the Comal County Friends of the Night Sky, and I'm one of the original members.
I'm Steve Ellery, and I'm the Vice President of the Comal County Friends of the Night Sky.
My name's Larry Wells, and I'm one of the founding members.
Colette Von Hanna, and I am a board member of Friends of the Night Sky.
I'm Betty Buckley. I'm an at-large board member and one of the founding members of Comal County Friends of the Night Sky.
My name's Jennifer Carson, and I've been with the group since it started. And right now I am the secretary.
I'm Charlie Kahn. I'm on the board of the Comal County Friends of the Night Sky.
I have seen the Milky Way. I grew up in a small town in northeast Louisiana.
I really remember seeing the Milky Way when I went to a camp when I was about 17 years old, and they had us all go out into a field. We were in Mountain Home, Texas, and we all laid down in this field, and there was an astronomer there, and he told us about the Milky Way.
One evening at a place called Sandy West Ranch, and there was a film being produced, The Stars at Night, and was fortunate enough to be a part of that. And what I remember about the Milky Way that night was the only way to not see the Milky Way was to look down at the ground.
Well, I believe I grew up with the Milky Way. I spent my summers on an island in Lake Erie, which was very dark, and you can still see the Milky Way there. But the first time I was really stunned by the Milky Way was at Bryce Canyon National Park in 1981 when I was camping there while I was in college.
I finally got to see the Milky Way after meeting this wonderful group of people and wanting to use my skills as a filmmaker to make a film that I thought was going to be a short near Fredericksburg of, trying to do a time lapse. And then we got the money, not enough to really make the film, but to go to the Big Bend and to see the Milky Way. And it was amazing. And while it's really amazing, I think the more wonderful thing is sort of the experience that you have with the people that you're with. It made me recall a really dark night sky in New Mexico when my husband and I just pulled the car over because there was like no traffic and got outside just to look at the stars. Because being from the city, we never thought about that. And it was very romantic, and Willie Nelson was playing. Yeah, you can't get much better than that.
I first realized it when one night I was traveling down a highway or a little narrow road, and there was a billboard, but it was reflecting off of the clouds. So then when I turned to go to my house in Bulverde, it was like I looked up to see the light pollution that was there.
There was a billboard that really irritated me on the exit coming home, exit off of I-35, that said, "The stars at night are big and bright deep in the heart of Texas." And I won't say what I thought, but they weren't aware of what stars used to look like. And with the rapid growth, the invention of LED lights, which have pretty much destroyed the night skies in this area. When I first moved here, I could still see the Milky Way. It wasn't impressive, but you could see it without question. And probably 5 years ago, it's pretty much disappeared.
What I particularly remember is when my daughter was young, and this had to be about 1975. And we went to Hunt, Texas, on vacation. And she was laying out there by the river with her daddy one night in the Chase lounges. And she looks up and she says, "Daddy, what's that?" And he said, "What do you mean?" She said, "That up in the sky." She had never seen the stars.
I think it is important for children to be able to see the stars and the Milky Way. For one, not only it's to be able to sense your place in the world, and a child is always with this sense of wonder trying to establish not only who they are as a person, but who they are in their setting in the world. And the stars and the Milky Way are a huge part of our placement in the world. And if you can't see them, we're losing touch with that long history.
So since I moved here in 2017, the night skies have become dramatically brighter. When I moved here, we were 4 on the scale called the Bortle scale, and that represents a rural, semi-rural area. Now we're at 5, and that is more of a suburban area. And if that trend continues, then we'll become an urban area.
Can a community make a difference in night skies? Yes, but that community must be united.
One person can make a difference in anything, as long as they're determined. Even if it's just something as small as walking off and turning off your light. Educating is very important. I think wonder comes into play at some point, but it's also the same feeling I get when I look at the ocean. It's a deep, it's deep humility, because it's the vastness of it. I didn't expect to cry. Most of the great major and minor prophets of the world have been familiar with the stars. And if you can't see them, we're losing touch with that long history.
If we in Texas have the song, "The Stars at Night Are Big and Bright," we should live up to that.